green, Andy Policky from the outside. Rockets to the line, and we are off and running for the first time at the Nashville Fairgrounds.
Get really loose coming out of the corner, and he's going to hit the inside wall hard. Shoots right straight up the track. He gets a little piece of the 18 in dooming, but it doesn't do too much damage. Luke Peterson's going to end up getting the worst of it, and I think Sargent's just going to barely tap. He gives Peterson a pretty good shot there, too.
It's known right now in the battle for second.
Yeah, he's got a problem, though. He's got two trucks that are side by
side.
Oh, trouble! Contact!
Oh, no. Policky down. Big contact with Greg Roberts. And that is big, big trouble. Paul Ellison as they work around on lap number 175 here. Coming to 25 laps to go next time around for the race leader.
And as we're chatting about this, Langston all of a sudden is right here with McKinnon and actually got around him.
Got him.
I don't know what happened if McKinnon maybe got really loose out of one of the corners.
And this will be a 200-lap race in regulation. Langston with some trucks in front of him. Just trying to make it back to the line. 3 for 3. Langston is a winner again in the Venom Truck Series.
Oh, and Policky goes around here right at the end.
Oh, no.
Policky into 3, through 3 and 4. He hit the wall hard. I don't know exactly what happened. It's only going to... Actually, it's not going to cost him a spot at all, it doesn't look like.
After what proved to be a crazy all-star race out west, the All-Star and the rest of the stars of the Venom Truck Series have packed up and come back to the Nashville Metro, this time to Nashville Superspeedway, where we're getting ready to do 115 laps here tonight in the Being Homeless Sucks 115, presented by JKay Gaming. Round number 9 of the 5th season of the Venom Truck Series, and all the action is going to be right here on Turn 200. We're happy to have you along once again here tonight. It's Tommy Cook. It is the main man with the plan, Mr. Matt Williamson, who will be along here momentarily. Currently a native of the Nashville area. He's seen a couple of races here at the Nashville Superspeedway, and I'm sure he'll be happy to tell us all about them. More importantly, ahead of tonight's racing action, we have a points battle on our hands here coming down the stretch in season number 5. I believe this is the biggest advantage anybody's had all season. Andy Policky out ahead of Jeremy McKinnon right now by 14 points. But behind McKinnon, they are tight all the way through the 5th position. Jeff Langston, Paul Ellison, Ryan Dye, all within 20 points of the lead behind McKinnon, and of course the leader Policky. Things can get turned upside down here in a hurry at Nashville Superspeedway, both in the points and quite literally on the track. It's going to be a crazy night of racing, and you're not going to want to miss any of it here, as the Being Homeless Sucks 115, presented by JKay Gaming, is about to get underway. We'll have some action on track for you when we return to Venom Truck Series coverage here on Turn 200.
A blind knight that uses echolocation, viewing the dark, treacherous world through sound. Trapped in a dungeon, endangered by combatants, where hazards lurk around every corner. Make sound to have vision, or don't and be stealthy. Avoid impaling threats throughout the dungeon to escape. Engage with other prisoners.
Night I've been here about. Could you find the key and unlock my cell?
Free them to fight back with more allies.
Let's take this guy.
The Dungeon Labyrinth has many paths and even more traps. Struggle through the darkness to find your freedom.
presentation. Alrighty, mon frères, which I always thought meant friend, but that means brother, does it not? I don't know. I'm going to stick to English here. Welcome back to Turn 200. We are getting ready for the Being Homeless Sucks 115, presented by JKay Gaming. So we decided to allow, at the insistence of the presenting sponsor, Mr. JKay himself, into the booth here tonight. It is the one and only Mr. Two-time most popular driver, John Kay. Welcome to Booth 200, partner. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. I appreciate you guys letting me come in here. I got lucky and managed to work an early shift today, so excited to actually watch a race as it happens, and excited to spend some time in the booth with you guys.
Absolutely. We're excited to get you a little bit of airtime. I know you and I both have been wanting to see you out on track. This is an interesting race here tonight. We'll get to some of the broader details of Nashville Superspeedway, but this seems to be a significant race for John Kay lore, or a significant track, rather, here at Nashville Superspeedway. You want to kind of go into that a little bit?
Yeah, so in my baby stages, being here in Venom, if you saw the thumbnail, you saw the beautiful 96 truck with all four wheels off the ground. I was just trying to make a name for myself, I was relatively a nobody. This race came, I think, about in the same spot. It was later in the schedule, and I was putting together a pretty good run, and then there was a caution in the later half of the race, and I was climbing my way to the top 5, and got into our 3-in-a-row race winner, Jeff Langston, or Jeff got into me. He got loose on the bottom in turns 1 and 2, and then was coming back up the track and clipped me as I was too wide with somebody else. And I faked. We have our lovely Discord that these guys are a part of, and get to see some of the wacky stuff that goes down in it. But I spun a story that I went to the hospital, and I was really mad at the whole situation, because had such a good run going at such a tough track. I mean, Nashville Superspeedway is kind of technical in the trucks, it can be, especially later in a run, and I was putting together a really good run, so I was kind of frustrated at the whole situation. I wasn't sure if I was going to run at Bristol, so I spun this whole story about going to the hospital with a really bad concussion because of the wreck and blah, 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 and yeah, and then I ended up racing Bristol and held off Nathan for a lot of laps, and Nathan is really, really good at Bristol, and I was running a Dale Earnhardt truck, and he was running the Rowdy scheme, which, if you guys have seen the intro slideshow, I actually won in at Bristol, or not Bristol, at Darlington, excuse me. But that truck was a really infamous truck at the time for Nathan, and I will quote Nathan, saying he was going to send people to the drag strip at Thunder Valley. So he said if anybody gets in my way, I'm sending them to the drag strip, and he ended up wrecking half the field because of somebody with bad internet. And yeah, in my eyes, a legend was born, but in some people, they'd say an insufferable horror show was born. But yeah, Andy Policky ended up getting the jar of honey from Steve Vroman that night. Led 81 laps. Pit strategy got me there at the end. My team owner, which is no longer with us, told me, or failed to tell me, that he was taking 2 tires, so I ended up behind Nathan and him and Andy ended up getting the win. And yeah, and then I almost won Michigan the next week, and I think that really kind of cemented my place in the league, and it really, above all else, showed me that I could hang with these guys at 2 really tough tracks back to back. I had really good runs going.
And thus, the legend of John Kay was born. Absolutely.
Yeah. And now they're stuck
go ahead.
with me.
Yeah.
I was just.
Yeah.
They're stuck with me now as soon as I get a house again. So.
Oh, that's going to be a great time. We're looking forward to it. You mentioned that Nashville Superspeedway can get pretty technical. What are some of the toughest parts about running this track?
I think the one thing that really stands out is it's concrete, and a lot like you think about other concrete tracks, especially Dover, they absolutely chew your tires up. So you have to be really, really careful about managing your tires and taking care of them, because it'll be crucial later in the runs. And I'm expecting a lot of this race to go green. It did when we were here 2 seasons ago. But you really gotta manage your tires, and you can tell who won't, because they will fall like an absolute rock.
All righty. I was going to say, I think that's a pretty big key to the race as well, is making sure you keep 4 fresh Dr. Feelgoods underneath of you. We appreciate you coming up into the booth and spinning a couple of stories with us and giving us some keys to the race here tonight. Mr. JKay Gaming, John Kay. Hope to see you on the track here soon.
Yeah, that's the goal. We're working on it. I think we're getting close here, so watch out, Venom. I'll be back soon.
There you go. Words of warning from John Kay. We appreciate the time, brother. Have yourself a great night here.
I can't say it'll be pretty when I get back. Some people might get wrecked, but that's a part of it. We'll be back. Dang it, and that's all that matters.
Oh, that's lovely. All righty, have a good one.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
Love having pre-race interviews. John Kay, hope to see him back with the Venom Truck Series here soon. But we've got a grid here for 115 laps around Nashville Superspeedway. Here we go. 3rd career pole, 2nd of the season for Chad Stearns. He is back with a vengeance here on the front row. Paul Ellison, coming off of his 3rd, 4th place finish of the season, rolls off in 2nd. Jeff Langston, 3 times a winner in his last 3 starts. He rolls off 3rd. Great start tonight for Adrian Brown. He's going to roll off P4, his best career start. Steve Roman rolls off in the 5th position. Brian Dyda is outside in 6th. Kevin Sargent, great start for him here tonight. He starts in 7th. Brantley Gainey Jr. in 8th. Nathan Reynolds is back here tonight in 9th. And your all-star winner, Michael Dean, rolls off in 10th. Kyle Zittel, TJ Bartel, Jeremy McKinnon, Luke Peterson, Corey Rutherford, Michael Krall, Will Salamone, Jan Van Leer, Andy Policky, and Paul Sargent. The rest of your top 20. We've got 28 trucks here tonight, but we want to get the weather conditions from the one and only Mr. Matt Williamson before we go green here.
Yeah, well, we're going to get those conditions pulled up for you here in just a second. Give the back half of the field a little bit of TV time there. With the lineup, let's go ahead and pull up our weather. The track temperature right now is 108 degrees Fahrenheit, so pretty warm, not crazy. It's about the same as we saw last night at Atlanta in Truck 200. It actually ended up cooling off a little bit there towards the end, so that's what we're looking at with temperature. Fuel window is going to be about 70 laps. We got 115 to go here at Nashville Superspeedway.
And here we go. The Being Homeless Sucks 115 and Nashville Superspeedway is underway. Here goes Chad Stearns. And the rest of the field barreling towards turn number 1. Got some new paint schemes in the field here tonight. Chad Stearns is sporting one of those. He had the Kurt Busch livery for most of the season. Now he's got a Club Indiana livery on that truck. It looks great, and it looks even better out front. Langston holding off a side-by-side battle for 3rd behind him. Ellison is going to overtake Roman on the outside to take the spot outright. And lap number 1 is in the books. John Kay says he's expecting a lot of green flag action here tonight, and we're off to a pretty good start as here comes Ellison now to the outside of Jeff Langston for 2nd.
And Ellison was really quick in practice earlier while we were watching. He was clicking off some really good laps. He's certainly going to be someone to watch here, as well as Roman Langston. You know the names. They've been up towards the front all season long, especially Jeff Langston, 3 wins in a row in regular season action. That is quite the feat.
Look at this side-by-side battle here. Ryan Dye, Adrian Brown. Adrian Brown sported a new paint scheme, but not that we've really featured Adrian Brown a whole lot on the broadcast. That's a nice colleague scheme for him there on the bottom, working underneath of the 2-time defending champion Ryan Dye. Oh, Ellison's around! He takes Langston with him. They're both barreling off into the grass. The caution is going to fly. Some innocent contact there. Wow. they both really kind of get away with that one, but the caution is going to fly. Langston over the radio says he thinks he came up into Ellison. We'll have to see what the replay is going to show here as they worked out of turn number 4.
Yeah, we're going to try to get that up here for you. It wasn't necessarily a crash, so it's going to be a little tough. Here we go. They're already kind of sideways here. We're going to back it up just a little bit. Going to go ahead and go with the chase cam here. Langston working on the bottom of Ellison. Langston said he thought that he came up into Ellison. We'll see here. And I tell you what, coming out of 4, it is easy to do this, and that is what happens. Langston comes up just a little bit and knocks the 55 sideways. Ellison can't do anything about it. It's going to come back down into the 21. That's something that we might see all night long. Coming out of turn 4, it is easy when you're trying to get the power back down to drift up the track. And if you're working the top side, you can find the wall pretty easily as well. So that is going to be something to watch tonight.
3 drivers hit pit road. One of them is Andy Policky, Paul Ellison on pit road, as well as Cole Maxwell, who I believe in the opening lap got up into the wall at a turn number 2. So he's getting some extended repairs done, as is Paul Ellison. Not sure why Policky pitted, but he did. So the points leader is going to be a little bit further back than I think he would like here in the opening stages. But Andy Policky is a master strategist, as we have come to find out here. So he knows what he's doing better than we do. That is for sure. There's not a debate about it.
Yeah, I'm watching our YouTube chat right now. JKay Gaming, who the race is presented by, who we heard from pre-race, he kind of jinxed Paul Ellison a little bit. He said that Paul E. might mess around and win this thing right before that happened. A little broadcast curse as well. I said that Ellison and Langston were certainly 2 of the top contenders, and they were caught up in an incident already. So maybe I should just keep my mouth shut, because for the Venom Truck Series, I have jinxed quite a few incidents already this season.
And do we have McFreakin Duncan in the chat? Oh my gosh, that's our boy DW, Drew White.
Yeah, Drew White, baby.
So how's it going? And yeah, lively bunch here in the chat already. We love to see it. Thanks for everybody for hanging out with us here tonight. And still got a lot of racing to go. It's going to be 109 laps, 109 more trips around the Nashville Superspeedway. When we come back to the line, Chad Stearns has led all 6 laps thus far. He'll now have Steve Roman to his outside. Ryan Dye sporting a special paint scheme here tonight. We're going to talk about that here momentarily once things get a little more drawn out around the track. But it's Ryan Dye there in the 15 with Jeff Langston to his outside. Adrian Brown still hanging strong here inside of the top 5 with Nathan Reynolds now to his outside. Pace truck pulls off, and Chad Stearns back to the restart zone, and the green flag is going to fly once again. Langston did not get a great start. He's already going to be under fire to his outside from Nathan Reynolds. That'll be for spot number 4. But a great start for Chad Stearns.
And Dye is working the inside. Vroman was the one working the inside on that first restart. Now he's on the outside of Ryan Dye. I'm curious how that bottom, I don't think that bottom's going to be working very well in the long run, but if anybody's going to prove me wrong, it's going to be the Venom Truck Series drivers, Ryan Dye, one of them in particular. Whoa, kind of close quarters there between, I think that was Langston and maybe Salamone. Langston really backed off the throttle there. Maybe has a problem after the incident, not sure.
Quite the stack up around Jeff Langston here, as I believe that is actually Kevin Sargent, who you were referring to.
And I think you're right.
Nathan Reynolds has just gotten past Ryan Dye for the 3rd spot. I think Kevin Sargent put himself on the list of drivers that don't want to be talked about on the broadcast because we've jinxed him more than once. So we'll just say Kevin Sargent is in 7th and leave it at that. Here comes Reynolds down to the inside of Vroman. He came up the track just a little bit. No contact, though. Still battling side by side for second. Behind them, Sargent and McKinnon are battling for the 7th position.
And Reynolds is looking to assert dominance early. Whoa!
Big moment there for Ryan Dye. He tried to open a window underneath the Steve Vroman. Vroman shut it, and Dye had to get on the binders. Now here comes Adrian Brown back to the inside of Ryan Dye for 4th.
And McKinnon behind Brown dives to the inside of Kyle Zittel as well. He's looking to take that position away, isn't able to clear.
For the lead, here comes Nathan Reynolds to the inside of Chad Stearns. Oh, whoa! Stearns nearly contact, has to roll way out of it. 2 different lines through the corner there, and that almost ended in disaster. It wouldn't be the first time we've seen Nathan Reynolds go for a ride from the lead this season. But now P1 for Nathan Reynolds and big trouble for Chad Stearns.
Yeah, Stearns is going to lose all the momentum that you're able to generate through the corners coming out of 2. He's going to end up losing a lot of spots on this thing. He's all the way back in 7th right now.
And still drop it. As he works around the outside of Kevin Sargent. I believe that's TJ Bartell, who has made his way up into the top 10 right behind them. As it's Reynolds, Vroman, and now Adrian Brown is running in the 3rd spot.
Yeah, Adrian Brown, who's a rookie to the Venom Truck Series. I don't think we saw him until, was it Bristol Dirt?
Yes.
The first race that we saw him? So a little ways into the season before we saw Adrian Brown show up. But he's shown some speed since he has one of the rookies along with TJ Bartell that have shown a lot of pace this season.
Yes, Brown in particular looked pretty good at the All-Star race last week, so not exactly a points-paying race.
And speaking of rookies, Bartell is looking to the inside of Kevin Sargent. This is for the 8th spot. Isn't able to get clear, but you can dive it down into turn 3 if you need to. That is what the 59 of Bartell does.
Only a couple of... Sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say that is one of the key passing points here at the Nashville Superspeedway track. If you're able to generate that momentum through turns 1 and 2 down the backstretch, you can really dive it into turn 3 and not pay much of a price for it. I mean, within reason, of course.
Yeah, I think some of these drivers will be willing to test those limits for you here once we get a little bit deeper into this race. But at the line this time, Nathan Reynolds is going to put lap number 16 in the books, which means it's 100 laps to go. Vroman is hanging tough right around 0.3 of a second. Adrian Brown is starting to slip back a little bit. And then it's Ryan Dye and Jeremy McKinnon. McKinnon just gets through on Dye for the 4th spot. So now it'll be Dye and Zittel battling for 5th with Brantley Gainey Jr. in tow behind them.
And we're going to see Zittel carrying the momentum. He dives it down into 3, but isn't able to clear.
Vroman has cut the lead now to a truck length, and Reynolds is starting to do a bit of an open wheel snake down the front stretch. He went down below the apron to try and break the toe.
Well, this is what JKay said that we might see as we get a little bit farther along on these tires. They start to go pretty quickly. Probably a lot of the same type of action that we saw from Legacy Atlanta last night in Truck 200. Kind of a similar situation here on the concrete, the largest concrete track on the circuit at 1.33 miles long, and it'll chew your stuff up big time.
I believe Bartell has gotten through on Ryan Dye now for the 7th position. Dye is moving the wrong way here. He's about to have his hands full with the All-Star, the one and only Mr. Michael Dean, who's running P9 here after a thrilling conclusion that saw both of those two drivers mixing it up More than I think Michael Dean was wanting to in the final 2 turns.
That was certainly epic. I'll tell you what else is epic. There is a large gaggle of trucks right outside of the top 10 that are jockeying for position. I think Salamone, Stearns, Garrett Rainey's in here, Kevin Sargent, Luke Peterson. All of them are looking for position into the top 10. Salamone is actually in that 10th place as they are 3 wide for a second down the front stretch.
Rainey thought better of it and rolled out. They're putting the Super Speedway in Nashville Super Speedway right now. That'll tell you that much for free. Most of the rest of the field is single file as that gaggle tries to sort itself out.
We're going to go back to Corey Rutherford and take a look at his cockpit because he's got a lot of action going on in front of him as he touches the apron just a tad, gets out of the gas, is able to corral it. And you can hear the tires as he tries to roll it through turns 3 and 4. He's got Policky. Whoa, there's trouble in front of him!
Oh, man. Problems. Kevin Sargent, Garrett Rainey. Jeff Langston got a piece of that one as well, it looks like. And our second caution of the night is out.
Boy, I know exactly where to put that camera, huh?
I guess so. And Kevin Sargent over the radio with an apology. Looked to me like he did what you and I were talking about is the easiest thing to do here. Out of turn number 4, just pushing it a little wide.
Yeah, I mean, it is so easy to do. We're going to go ahead and go to a little chase cam here. This is Rutherford that we're watching, who we were talking about a little bit earlier. See, Rainey's in front of him, and you are going to see Sargent trying to exit forward, put the power down. Gets hard into the wall. Rainey's hard into him as well. Rutherford, who we were on board with, is able to get down to the bottom and escape. Michael Krall is as well. Both of them end up going into the grass. But that's what we were talking about a little bit earlier, how easy it is to just find yourself up against that wall coming out of 4, and it has reared its head again.
So hopefully the damage for all involved is not too much. I can tell you, while we were watching the replay there, everybody except for Jeremy McKinnon has come down pit road. So McKinnon on lap number 24, under the second caution here, is the only driver that has not been down pit road at any point this race. Guys like, I believe, Andy Policky, Paul Ellison, and Cole Maxwell have been down pit road twice. And I mentioned also that we had 28 drivers in this session to start with. We've actually only had 27 starters. Flanky Roberts did not make it off the starting grid for whatever reason. So a little bit of an inside joke / meme between Matt and I that there are 27 trucks in almost every single race here this season. And it's come true once again.
Yeah, I seriously think we're in round 9, and I think at least 5 of the 9 rounds has been exactly 27 drivers, and that's just a great turnout, especially when you have the quality drivers that the Venom Truck Series has. It's you and I both know it's a long road to get to where you have that many good drivers coming in and week out. That's just a testament to the work that's been put in here with the Venom Truck crew. So
Adrian Brown wins the race off of pit road, so he will start on the outside of the front row with Jeremy McKinnon in control of the restart here. It'll be Steve Roman and Kyle Zittel on row 2. Brantley Gainey, TJ Bartell on row 3. Nathan Reynolds, then the race leader, comes out 6th in the pits. Will restart in 7th here with Ryan Dye to his outside in 8th. And Chad Stearns and Michael Dean then round out your top 10. It'll be 90 laps to go when we come back to the line here. I believe everybody is going to have to come in for one more stop still. That's a big asterisk there because that's my math and my fuel calculation numbers. So we'll see if that comes to fruition or not. As back to the restart zone, McKinnon on the inside, Brown on the outside, and a great launch here for Jeremy McKinnon despite the old rubber. Vroman through to second. And look how much time he made up there in the corners. Cut that to half a truck length here. Now let's see where he's going to put it, trying to get around his teammate Jeremy McKinnon. Sticks it to the inside in turn number 3.
Boy, a little bit farther back with Nathan Reynolds, Bartell, Gainey Jr.'s in there as well. There was some tight battling going on there.
Most of the field yet to sort themselves out here. But up front, Steve Roman looks pretty sorted, as does Adrian Brown after he didn't get a great restart. He is not too far behind Steve Roman here. Kyle Zittel on the attack as well. Looking to close the gap between he and Brown for second. Here goes Nathan Reynolds to the inside of Brantley Gainey Jr. Can't quite complete the pass.
Oh. Boy, he drifted up the track just a little bit there, too, but Gainey Jr. gives him the room, and we're going to continue Bartell on Gainey's inside now as well. And he will clear. We'll see if the 22 has a shot at him coming down the backstretch into 3.
About half a truck length for the second spot now between Zittel and Brown. And both of these drivers keeping Steve Roman in tow here. About 0.4 of a second, the gap from Roman to Brown.
And for those of you keeping track, Jeremy McKinnon, who did not come into pit, he is on very old tires for this track. He's dropped all the way down to 15th now.
So a big slide here for Jeremy McKinnon. As we are single file most of the way through the top 10. And in fact, all the way through the top 10. Battle for 11th right now between Will Salamone and Michael Dean is the first battle on the track.
And Tommy, you might know better than I do. Is there a limit on tire sets for us here tonight?
That is a great question. I should know the answer to this, and I do. I'm just having a brain fart right now. That would be a good thing to know. It's
too.
4. It's 4. Like
It's
4
4,
extra
okay.
sets. So
I'm just trying to justify why McKinnon would stay out here in my mind. I thought maybe he was just trying to save a tire set or something.
And it still could be for the end of the race. You never know how these are going to play out. So the problem is I think he needs a quick caution here to really sort of stop the bleeding.
Yeah, we just got confirmation from JKay and Eric Breeding, 2 drivers in the Venom Truck Series who are not driving with us here tonight. But thank you for watching. 3 extra tire sets, so 4 tires, 4 sets total is correct.
Okay, so I was close.
Well, you said 4. Technically, it is 4.
Yeah, I said 4 extra though.
Oh,
so
well,
it's 3 extra.
You didn't have to confirm that, but that's all right.
No, it's okay.
I was
I'm
trying to
nothing
give
if
you
a
one.
man of honesty. I don't need you to gas me up. I'm going to pop my own balloon as many times as I get the chance to.
Also, shout out. We missed a comment from Madison Bowen asking
Oh.
if gaggle is the word of the night. Gaggle is always the word, just like bird. So there you go.
Oh, jeez. Gaggle is one of my go-to. Is that a noun? A pronoun? I don't know. I say gaggle a lot. The flock? Should I use flock instead? Doesn't seem right.
Well, I was trying to use a nice segue, but there's really not a flock of trucks anywhere. Pretty much single file throughout the field. Kroll and Samard were side by side for quite a while. That's all the way back for the 14th position. It looks like we had a battle maybe a little bit farther up here. This is between Policky and Ryan Dye. Policky on the bottom is, I think it'll be clear. Yes, he does clear Dye. Dye will have the momentum, though. We'll see coming down into 3 what Dye chooses to do. And he is going to stay seated behind Andy Policky. Policky up to spot number 7.
Dye, I believe, at the fairgrounds was the last truck to finish on the lead lap in P9. So it wasn't a super run for Ryan Dye like we've seen out of him at many tracks here this season. But a 9th place finish at the fairgrounds, and kind of running on the same sort of feeling here tonight. I want to talk about his paint scheme while I get the chance. That is the Charlotte FC MLS soccer team that he's run on his truck for the majority of the season, as he's getting a look right now from Jan Van Leer. Anton Walks, one of their star players, and a much beloved player in the league itself and on the team as well, and in the entire Charlotte area and Charlotte community. He passed away recently, as the caution is going to fly here. Take a look. It's Michael Kroll is around in turn number 2. But, yeah, so a heavy heart for a big soccer fan, Ryan Dye, as Anton Walks, one of the star players of his favorite team, has passed away unexpectedly. So that's a tribute scheme for him here tonight. As out of turn number 2, Michael Kroll goes around, brings out our 3rd caution of the night. You got a beat on this one here, partner?
Not necessarily. I think we saw Kroll battling pretty good, and you're not going to believe it. Somebody has hit the turn 4, the wall coming out of turn 4 yet again.
Oh, my goodness.
It's going to be Corey Rutherford this time. And let me see if I can find Corey Rutherford. Here we go. Much of the same that we've seen a couple of times tonight already. Rutherford working the outside above Policky, just trying to put the power down. Oh, I am so sorry. It is not Corey Rutherford.
I was gonna say I'm not 100% sure what you're looking at here.
It was actually Will Salamone. Wow, I am gravely mistaken.
So there were 2 separate incidents then.
I'm very confused.
Because Michael Kroll got made contact with Luke Peterson as well. Michael Kroll went around.
It would help if your replay man was even close to the right incident. That was our previous incident. We're gonna see the actual one here.
There we go.
Kroll's already around. We're gonna go to the chase cam. Apologies, everybody. And as you said, this is Michael Kroll working in front of Peterson. And Peterson just carrying a lot more momentum than Michael Kroll was. Doesn't get checked up and gets into the left rear panel of Michael Kroll's truck, and that is going to spin Michael Kroll coming out of 2, and Peterson's going to give him another little shot here. Sargent really trying to get that thing slowed down. He avoids it. And Michael Krall's going to end up getting the worst of that one, damage and losing the track position.
Adrian Brown, Ryan Dye, Jeff Langston, Cole Maxwell, Kyle Dumig, Jeremy McKinnon, Kevin Sargent. The truck's on pit road this time. Go ahead.
I don't know.
Okay.
I'm trying to figure out what happened with my replay system here still.
It's been an interesting couple of nights between you and SDK in the gaming app. So I'm just happy that it's is working for now. Knock on wood, everybody.
Yes, there hopefully will not be another reinstall happening right before the race starts.
Yes, we can only hope here. The field is doubled up, but they're pretty spread out, so I think they're coming to one to go this time. So Steve Roman stayed out, as did Kyle Zittel. I believe your first hitters. Actually, they haven't cycled around, so I can't see them. Maybe you could see them on live timing. The first truck, position-wise, on pit road was Adrian Brown.
Yeah, I actually think that was... I don't think there's many that actually came in. I think maybe Maxwell McKinnon obviously came in because he stayed out. But there's nobody that has taken 3 pit stops, and we've had 3 cautions.
Three cautions for 11 laps thus far. It'll be 74 to go when we come back to the line. And yeah, Adrian Brown, I believe, is the first one off pit road, and he is back in 20th. So Brown, Maxwell, Dye, Langston, McKinnon, Dumick, Sargent, Rainey were the drivers that came down pit road. We have not actually seen anybody go a lap down yet, so we've not had any lucky dogs up to this point. But here we go. Maybe we are finally due for a longer green flag run here. We'll have to see. Vroman on the bottom, Zittel on the top. Vroman has control of the restart here, but Zittel is nosing ahead. The green flag is out. No penalty for Zittel. That's good because he was ahead when Vroman accelerated.
Yeah, he really stacked up that outside line, though. TJ Bartel was 2nd and 9 on the outside. He is all the way back to, I think, 7th right now. So a bad restart for that outside line.
The big beneficiary of this is going to be Nathan Reynolds, though. He is back up to P2, and he wants to reclaim the top spot. As Zittel and Brantley Gainey Jr. behind him battle side by side for third. A pretty big cluster of trucks there. It's a big cluster truck. Let's go. All right.
Anyways, Gainey Jr. and Zittel are battling with Jan Van Leer in tow. No, sorry, that was actually kind of funny. I was just being facetious.
Yes.
Whoa, and Bartel, I thought was going to hit the outside wall there out of 4.
Very sketchy on these restarts. There's not a whole lot of room to maneuver here.
I mean, I wouldn't say that there's not a lot of room, but the racing line doesn't provide you to use up the rest of the room that is on the track, I guess, is more how it is.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Reynolds is absolutely dogging Steve Roman for the lead here. He's had the ability to take a swipe at his tailgate the last 2 sets of turns and hasn't done so. Vroman putting a little more distance between he and Reynolds. The last couple of trips around the Nashville Superspeedway here. At the line, it's 70 laps to go. Everybody place your bets in the chat, and we'll see if they come to fruition here. All 27 drivers still out on the track running right now. Everybody still has a chance. But place your bets. We'll see if it comes true for you. There's been oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I was just going to say we're watching a little bit of a battle between Chad Stearns and TJ Bartel. Stearns ends up passing Bartel up to the 7th spot now. And we saw this on the original start of the race. Once everybody kind of has the same tire. Whoa, there's a caution out.
Caution. Couple of trucks around. I believe Ryan Dye is one of them. Ryan Dye, as well as, I believe, Ryan Borboom got together. Ryan Borboom comes over the radio and claims responsibility for it, but it triggers our 4th caution of the night nevertheless.
Well, just when we thought we might get some green flag racing, we have another incident. Go ahead and keep an eye on pit stops for me.
Yep.
I do have the replay racked up here for us. We're going to go ahead and go to the chase. And Dive's really just working the bottom here. On the yellow line, I mean, he is as far down as he can go. And, yeah, Borboom just comes right down on him, trying to carry some speed. I don't know, maybe he got a little bit loose, and he was trying to stay in the throttle and corral that a little bit. But he pretty much punts Ryan Dye to the inside of the track, and there is grass there. So he's going to go for a little bit of a slide. And we're going to watch the pit stops going on right now.
Absolutely. We've got some takers. I'd say pretty close to 50-50. Nathan Reynolds comes in. Steve Roman stays out in the lead. Ryan Dye, of course, is on pit road. Jan Van Leer, Kevin Sargent, Kyle Zittel, Andy Policky is on pit road as well. Luke Peterson, Paul Sargent. So that's both of the Sargents on pit road. Cole Maxwell, Garrett Rainey. So actually, that's a little bit less than half, but some significant drivers, in particular Nathan Reynolds, I believe, with my math anyway, that we are within the final fuel window here. It's just a matter of whether you want this old of tires.
Yeah, well, that would have been Nathan Reynolds' second stop, so I think he has one more set left.
And I just got the good old winter weather warning on my PC. Hopefully somebody somewhere is watching this from a beach, watching the sunset. But something tells me the odds of that are pretty low.
Well, if you're John Kay and you're homeless, I guess the world is your beach and your sunset, so to speak.
Jesus.
Thank you.
All right. We'll wait with bated breath for the JKay Gaming response and chat to that one.
He's down here talking strategy while I'm talking about being homeless. I love to see it.
Well, this is the JKay Gaming race here tonight. I hate being homeless 115. Or no, it was being homeless sucks 115, isn't it?
Yes, that is correct. I was waiting for this response.
There we go. Being homeless sucks 115.
It is presented by JKay Gaming in the chat, so if you haven't checked him out, go ahead and just click on his little profile there, and it'll take you right to his channel.
Easy access for you.
Uh-huh.
Pace truck is off. We're going to have 65 laps to go. Steve Roman, Brantley Gainey Jr. lead quite a few drivers here who did not come down pit road. Nathan Reynolds, who did come down pit road, is back in 17th. So some work to be done for the two-time champ. As Stearns underneath of Gainey. We've not seen Stearns up front since his battle with Ryan Dye way earlier in this race when he and Dye nearly made contact. He dropped like a rock after that, so Stearns is back up to second now.
Yeah, likely got a little bit of that damage fixed on that truck, and we've mentioned it in this truck series and Truck 200 that just a little bit of damage can really hurt the aero on these. So likely got that fixed and has that truck back in pretty good shape, right where he wants it. And Jeff Langston has found himself back into the top 6 now as well. So some of those drivers that were up front in the beginning that fell back are now starting to show their faces again.
Man, that is tight quarters there as Langston bails out of line, goes to the outside of TJ Bartell. That is for 5th.
McKinnon and Rutherford trying to figure out what they're going to do. Nowhere to go behind these two. Seems like they have more speed, but just nowhere to go right now.
Remember Langston earlier made some pretty significant contact. So he's still running inside the top 5 with, I'm sure, well, it looks like on the right side of the spoiler there, a little bit of damage still. That probably can't be fixed. But he is going to work right now. He's gotten past McKinnon, Bartell, and now Brantley Gainey Jr. here on the restart.
And McKinnon's working the outside, trying to get around Bartell. He has Gainey Jr. in front of him, though, trying to push him down the backstretch here. He's going to make a move, dives down into turn 3.
And up front, Adrian Brown is snuck underneath of Steve Roman for the race lead. Adrian Brown goes up to P1. As you were describing that battle, that is exactly how Adrian Brown got himself up to the front as well. So I believe first lap led in his Venom Truck Series career, Adrian Brown puts that number 10 up to P1. Further back, McKinnon now underneath of Chad Stearns, and the caution is out once again.
Whoa, and this is a little bit of a bigger one here.
I believe Samard and the 89 of Peterson were involved. It sounds like a couple of more trucks involved as well. Oh, yeah. Paul Sargent. It looks like he took a ride here. We'll have to wait for the replay as our 5th caution of the night is out.
Before we go to that, I want to give Adrian Brown his due on a replay for the pass for the lead, as we had missed it on broadcast. As he mentioned, he dived down into turn 3 right in front of Steve Roman. That is how he got the lead. Now we're going to take a look at the incident.
So it's Paul Ellison who is the first to get tagged. And he gets tagged by Kyle Dumig, I believe.
That is the 18. Ellison a little bit slower on the top side there. Dumig drifts up the track, trying to work the bottom. Policky is then going to get into the back of the 55, and it's a little bit of a stack up from there, I think. As Sargent goes around and Samard die into Samard.
Samard goes upside down. Holy cow.
Oh, wow. Luke Peterson plows in here as well. A lot of trucks did not get slowed up there in time.
So you're taking your final looks at that here. More trucks on pit road. Ethan Patterson, Garrett Rainey, Paul Sargent, Luke Peterson. A lot of these have damage. Ryan Dye as well. Kyle Dumig, Paul Ellison, and Michael Dean, Austin Holyfield, Jan Van Leer, Andy Policky, Michael Kroll, Will Salamone, Corey Rutherford, TJ Bartell, Brantley Gainey, and Kevin Sargent, Jeremy McKinnon, Chad Stearns, and Steve Roman as well. All came down pit road. So that was a healthy chunk of the field here.
And Andy Policky has been into the pits 4 times now, as has Garrett Rainey, Ryan Dye, Somebody else too, I think it was Kevin Sargent, has been. Some of those were probably to fix damage as well, so maybe they haven't used all their tire sets yet, but a possibility that somebody might have put on their last set of tires. I would be surprised, but I wouldn't put it past somebody to try it.
Policky is a definite maybe. He came in under the first caution, which he was not involved in. He was one of 3 trucks to come into the pits. So I'm not 100% sure if he's taken all of his sets or not, but it is certainly possible. As we had 4 trucks stay out that time. So when I say healthy chunk, I mean the vast majority of them came in to get service that time. Adrian Brown, Jeff Langston, Nathan Reynolds, Kyle Zittel, your stayers. We know all 4 of those drivers came in under the last 2 cautions at least, if not the last caution before this one. So they have gotten tires on these trucks recently. We'll have to see what the disparity is going to be between Steve Roman and the 4 trucks in front of him. Chad Stearns as well to Roman's outside with the freshest rubber of all. Lap number 59, 57 to go. Great restart for Adrian Brown. Reynolds and Langston side by side for second. Zittel closes off an attack from one of his team drivers, Chad Stearns. Then has to roll out of it to not pile into the 21 of Langston.
Yeah, those are close quarters there between Zittel and Langston. Zittel had to really check up. He's going to be under fire from the 05 and the 00. That's Stearns and Vroman.
Reynolds up to second. He's drawing closer to the leader as this big scrap ensues behind him.
And we are just over halfway through this race. We have a lot of racing left here. A lot more incidents than I personally expected from our race here tonight. But it is a tough one, so I guess maybe I shouldn't be surprised.
And we actually have lost a couple of trucks after that accident, I do believe. Ryan Dye, Paul Sargent, Luke Peterson, Pascal Samard are the 4 trucks that are still on pit road right now.
And Nathan Reynolds put it underneath of Adrian Brown. He is going to the top. He has a clear track, and he is looking to put some space in between himself and the rest of the field.
Figured it was only a matter of time before we saw Nathan Reynolds back in P1. It's been a little bit, but always a contender, Nathan Reynolds. After he took his season provisional at the Nashville Fairgrounds, he leads at the Nashville Superspeedway. Whoa, contact further back. Jeff Langston got absolutely moved out of the way. I believe by Will Salamone. Salamone got underneath of Langston, maybe just sent it in a little bit too hot, but he body checked him.
Yeah, and Langston, we've talked about it a lot. After an incident, he loses more positions than just the one. Trying to get that thing corralled here. I'd actually like to go back and take a look at it. Salamone just absolutely dive bombs. He hits the apron, and it's going to knock him loose a little bit. That's what puts him up into the 21.
More trouble out onto the track again out of turn number 4. I believe it was Jeff Langston once again. Oh, my gosh. So Langston.
He's hit the pits now.
Yeah, Langston got loose, I believe, while he was trying to save the truck. Nowhere to go for Michael Dean. And Jeff Langston goes for a ride. Oh, my gosh.
Boy, I tell you what, it's been a tough day for Jeff Langston. He's been caught up in multiple incidents at this point. Oh, yeah, and there you see, breaks loose. Gets into the 73 of Dean. And Ellison's behind him. Ellison, everybody's able to get out of the way. I might have spoke too soon here. No, everybody does avoid it. Unbelievable.
What helps is that Langston flew backwards over the whole field. I like to see those moments, not to Jeff Langston in particular, but just when the sim doesn't realize what's happening and the truck gets up into the wall and it acts as sort of like a Looney Tunes slingshot and just tries to correct its position and then just ends up sending the truck flying hundreds of feet backwards in the air.
All right, I can't believe it. That was our 6th caution of the night.
Yes.
Only 65 laps through this thing. This is turning into a little bit of an all-star race type of deal here.
I don't know if I'd go to that point.
Maybe not quite. Maybe not quite that memey, I suppose.
We'll have to wait until we get to the final lap, and we'll see if anybody's feeling all-star race or not. So Langston, unfortunately, I believe, is going to be our 5th retiree. Actually, Paul Sargent is back out on track, so we've got 4 retirees as of right now, including Langston. So 22 trucks on the lead lap, 23 running altogether. I keep trying to click on the leader's name, and I keep rearranging the drivers by alphabetical order, and it is so aggravating. It's the 4th time I've done this race. I've never done it before tonight, but I've done it 4 times on this broadcast. Just first world problems for you, let me tell you.
Epic.
John K saying, everybody making me look bad. We were going to be green a bunch. Yeah. I mean, we could go. I think if we go 48 laps without a caution to end the race, I think it could be redeemed still. And look at the leaders down on the apron through the tri-oval. That tells me these guys think they are cutting it close on fuel. What do you think?
I feel like they also have to be thinking about tires also, though.
That could be.
I mean, I'm not saying that they're running the apron because of tires, because that's kind of crazy, but...
It's more of a dirt track thing.
Yeah, I guess I'm just thinking about, like, I would be surprised if they think we're actually going to make it. I don't know. I suppose it would be close, but I don't think we're going to be able to go green all the way, unfortunately. That's just my take. Hopefully, these guys can prove me wrong here.
So when Chad Stearns pulls up to the outside of his team owner here, it'll be Nathan Reynolds still leading Adrian Brown to his outside. It's been an awesome night for Adrian Brown running up in P2. Kyle Zittel in 3rd. Chad Stearns lagging back a little bit, but he's going to be on the outside of the 2nd row. It's teammates Steve Roman and Jeremy McKinnon on row number 3, with Will Salamone, Corey Rutherford, Brantley Gainey, and Jan Van Leer rounding out your top 10 drivers. Coming back to the restart zone on lap number 68. It'll be 48 to go. Another great restart for Nathan Reynolds. Zittel and Stearns side by side for 3rd. Broman and McKinnon side by side behind them.
Oh, Roman went into 3 a lot higher than I thought he would. He's actually going to be able to slide in front of Jeremy McKinnon, though. A heck of a move, and he carries a lot of momentum, almost pushing Chad Stearns down the front stretch here.
Roman looking to the outside of Stearns. Zittel looking to the inside of Brown for second. Zittel is going to pull ahead down the back straightaway. We'll see if Adrian Brown can fight back on the outside here.
He will, but Zittel's going to dive it down into 3, just like Chad Stearns is behind him.
Stearns absolutely sent it in. But Vroman with a better corner exit here. He is going to pull up to the outside of the 0-5 once again. Zittel below the apron trying to complete the pass on Adrian Brown. And all this while Nathan Reynolds is pulling away.
Yeah, and this has become a 5 or 6 car or truck battle for the second spot.
Vroman down to the inside of Brown.
Oh, shuffling between McKinnon and Stearns as well. They're 3 wide.
Stearns and McKinnon send it 3 wide underneath of Brown. Brown is going to lose 1 spot. Stearns rolls out of it to try and save the truck. Here comes Corey Rutherford into the mix. He passes Stearns and Brown. Now going to work on McKinnon for the 4th spot.
Boy, I tell you what, Stearns really could have stayed in that, but he thought better of it.
Now he's paying for it.
Yeah, he's paying for it, but there was bound to be another caution if he stayed in the gas on that one.
So Reynolds leading Zittel by half a second right now as we come to 44 laps to go. Zittel trying to hold off Steve Vroman now for second. It's McKinnon in 4th. Rutherford now running P5. He's had a quiet night up until this point, but making a lot of a noise all of a sudden.
Steve Vroman absolutely hounding Zittel. He is going to dive down into 3 as we've seen so many times. He's clear for the time being. Zittel carrying a lot of momentum through the turn. Vroman's going to shut the door on him. And Zittel dives back down to the bottom.
This is the kind of racing we've come to expect at the Superspeedway here. And despite the battling for second, they've actually made time on Nathan Reynolds. Reynolds is slipping back towards this battle just a little bit.
A little bit of single file, but I tell you what, behind them there is a big group of trucks. This is all around the 8th spot with Adrian Brown. They're 3 wide down the front stretch right now. Salamoni's going to back out of it. Stearns, oh man, he really set it down in there. We can tell we're getting to the back half of this race and closing in on it because it's starting to get pretty wild out here.
There was just a bit of contact further back in the field. Kyle Dumig just about went around as well. He saved it. Contact between Patterson and Kevin Sargent. And apologies exchanged over the radio.
Corey Rutherford nearly hit the wall out of 4 that last time around. You saw him kind of jerk the wheel down to the inside.
Reynolds opened up another 10th.5 on Vroman that last time by. Vroman, I think, is going to close a little bit in this time around. Wow, Zittel just got very close to the wall there. McKinnon, I believe, kept his foot in it out of the turn, is trying to find his way around Zittel. Nothing going this time, but that'll be the battle for 3rd once McKinnon gets a clean look at him.
Yeah, McKinnon has absolutely been hounding the back bumper of the 53 Razor machine, Kyle Zittel.
And Zittel, he's going to get looked at here by McKinnon finally underneath for 3rd. Yeah, I think he's going to fight back on the outside here. I thought maybe he was going to let McKinnon take the spot, but he's not done yet. As up front, Steve Vroman has closed the gap for the lead to about 2 truck lengths. McKinnon has completed the pass on Zittel, and Vroman is closing in on Reynolds once again.
There was a lot of action, a lot to take in there for those 10 laps or so. finally settled down a little bit. We've gone single file. Our drivers are just trying to put good, clean laps in and make it to the end of this race without incident.
First battle on the track, I believe, is for the 11th position. It's gaining to the outside, trying to hold on to that spot as Paul Ellison trying to move to his inside. And now Gainey is going to get the best of Ellison and hold on to the 11th spot. Now he's going to go to work on 10th place Adrian Brown. I don't think it really matters where Adrian Brown finishes here tonight because he had a great run up front. It's unfortunate that he has slipped back as far as he has, but it was still an impressive run nevertheless.
Well, we've seen a lot of times you really got to be careful where you position your truck. It might seem worth it to try to take a stab at somebody, but if it doesn't work out and you got to roll out of the throttle, you end up losing a lot of positions. We've seen it with him. We've seen it with Stearns twice, actually. Langston a couple of times as well, time and time again tonight.
McKinnon drawing nearer here to the top two as well. Just a few truck lengths separated from Vroman, who was less than a truck length now behind the race leader, Nathan Reynolds. And it's hard to believe that Nathan Reynolds has not won a race this season. That's just because he's Nathan Reynolds, though. It's also hard to believe that Steve Vroman has not won a race this season just based on results alone. Steve Vroman has been putting the pain on most of the field all season long. Reynolds has been up front pretty much every race, but has had some problems in several of the races that were mostly not of his own doing.
Yeah, I mean, Vroman has just been ultra consistent this season. Seems to be on the podium nearly every week. And he is right on the bumper of the 51.
Just when you think they can't get any closer, they are nearly touching there at turn number 4. 33 laps to go. Jan Van Leer has gotten around Corey Rutherford for the 5th position. As the top 3 have well separated themselves from Kyle Zittel, who is in a distant 4th.
We've gotten a cockpit view with Jeremy McKinnon, and we can hear him shifting in the corners now. So that is going to play a role when we start talking about fuel as well. But he has closed in on Steve Vroman.
Vroman is seated about a truck length to the race leader here in the last couple of laps. I think it's fair to say that McKinnon was going to be hard to pass for the lead at Nashville Fairgrounds had he not had his little blip one time out of turn number 4, overheated the right rear tire and had an incredible save and finished in second. But I mean, he led, I believe, 128 laps actually. It was his race to lose. Unfortunately, he came away with second.
Yeah, McKinnon's been up in the front a lot and has had some unfortunate incidents pretty much all season. Certainly doesn't tell the entire story of his races, that's for certain.
I tell you this much, not only has he been up front this season, but he's been the driver that's been in P1 the most this year. 235 laps led on the season. Actually, I believe he's led a couple of today as well under caution, or actually under green as well. So add a few more to that total, and I believe Nathan Reynolds is the second closest driver. Even if he leads the rest of the way out, he's still not going to catch Jeremy McKinnon at the end of this one. So McKinnon has had a lot of luck up front here this season and has only come away with one victory, but is still in the points battle, and a podium here today or even better is going to put him right back into the conversation here in the points hunt.
We saw Steve Vroman down and through turns 1 and 2 get right up onto the bumper of the 51.
And sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say, Roman seems to be really good through turns 1 and 2, but Reynolds gets the advantage through turns 3 and 4 on the other side of the track.
All I was going to say is that I'm afraid to talk about anybody outside of the top 3 because I think the growing feeling in the Venom driver Discord is that we seem to have the jinx power unrivaled to anybody else. So I'm afraid to talk about quite a few of the drivers who are having good runs here. But as you look through the leaderboard, it's not hard to spot a couple of them who are up front here who need good runs here today and are executing.
And we're watching a battle. This is for 9th. This is between Gainey and Rutherford. Gainey dives it down into the bottom of 3, as we've seen time and time again here tonight. That is the place to make passes. And he's going to make it stick on Corey Rutherford this time.
4th through 8th are all drawing very near to one another. They are tail. It's Zittel, Van Leer, Bartel, Policky, Stearns. And Bartel and company are just starting to creep in as this battle between Zittel and Van Leer has been underway here for the better part of the last 5 laps or so. Jan is going to get a good look here out of turn number 4. He dives to the inside. Looking to take the spot away from Kyle Zittel. That is P4, and he does. Here comes Bartel now to mop up as well. Oh, Policky gets it sideways, saves it. I don't know how. Stearns off the pace as well. Gainey and Rutherford are going to pick up a spot on Stearns. Gainey comes over the radio and says it was a hell of a save, and I have to agree. I don't know how those two didn't wad that up.
Yeah, Stearns and Policky were both absolutely sideways. But once again, Chad Stearns was moving forward and now has moved back again. Now behind Rutherford in the 10th spot.
Steve Roman just took a stab at Nathan Reynolds into turn number 1. Sent it a little too deep, had to get on the binders, and then just lost the momentum that he had. So he had a good look at the lead, maybe got a bit too advantageous and had to roll out of it.
John Kay says, what a save. Thought it was going to be a caution. Yeah, I did too. I was getting ready to call it.
Yeah, all 3 of us, I think, were in the same train of thought there. That was a whale of a save. So McKinnon is faded just ever so slightly from the battle here between Reynolds and Vroman, who have been pretty much in lockstep here for the better part of the last 10 laps. 22 more times around for Vroman to try and figure something out to get around Nathan Reynolds. 2 drivers with quite a few wins in the Venom Truck Series books, but none this season. They want to change that today.
Absolutely. And the rookie that we've talked about previously, TJ Bartel, is he's in the 4th spot, and he's moving forward a little bit. Just great stuff out of TJ Bartel the last few weeks here on Turn 200, both in the Venom Truck Series and in Truck 200 last night as well.
Roman just had to brake check to not pile into the back of Nathan Reynolds as they worked around the lap truck of Cole Maxwell. Now here comes Roman. He may have a look into turn number 3 for the race lead. Reynolds tries to pinch him down there on the bottom. Reynolds rolling the top side. He's going to have the momentum off the turn, but now Roman is going to come back at him here on the bottom. Reynolds shuts the door into the tri-oval. McKinnon is coming back into the mix as well. Oh, Vroman peeking to the inside, rolls out of it again.
This is all going to allow Jeremy McKinnon in the 12 to pull up right to the back of Steve Vroman. Maybe look to the inside. He decides not to. I thought he was going to dive it to the 0-0.
Vroman sends it so much deeper into the corners. And Vroman did not get a good exit that time. Here comes McKinnon out of the inside of Steve Vroman. And he takes second away. So McKinnon maybe just lying in wait just a little bit. He did not hit the apex on that turn. Vroman is going to have a little bit of momentum. Is he going to try and pass back, or is he going to try and help McKinnon up? I think both of these guys think that they're faster than Nathan Reynolds, but they cannot get around him.
Yeah, when those tires start to go, it's hard to make that bottom stick, and that seems to be where a lot of the passing's been happening. Vroman seemed really, really good on the bottom just about 10 laps ago, and it just isn't able to make it stick quite as well as he was at one time.
Something to keep in mind here, if the leaders start really swapping positions and trading paint here, TJ Bartell has made up about half a second in the last 3 laps on this battle for the lead.
Well, I'll tell you what, they might be trading paint here soon. McKinnon looks to the inside of the 51.
Side by side for the lead again. Is McKinnon going to be the one to have Nathan Reynolds' number? Reynolds around the outside. A bit of momentum down the back straightaway. Clears McKinnon once again, but McKinnon is probably going to take another stab at it here into turn number 3. For Reynolds. What a great corner for Reynolds. Great corner exit, though, for McKinnon. He may have another look at him here into turn number 1.
All of this is happening, and we're going to start coming up on lap traffic before too long as well. The number 12 to the inside of the 51 again through turns 1 and 2.
McKinnon just can't make it stick to be side by side down the back straightaway. McKinnon seems to be better through 3 and 4. Reynolds has his number in 1 and 2. Roman has fallen off about half a second from this battle for the lead. And Bartell is kind of held serve at about 3.5 seconds behind the race leaders here. So their battling is not drawing anybody else into the fold just yet.
Lap traffic will start to play a factor here, though.
And John Kay in the chat says McKinnon needs to be careful not to burn up his stuff here. And I agree.
I think
if he's going to make the pass, he needs to make it happen quick.
Yeah, I think that might be what happened to Steve Vroman as well. Vroman now back a little bit farther than he would like to be, but maybe just trying to cool him down a little bit, conserve, and hopefully have what he needs towards the end of the race. As things have slowed down a little bit now here in the top 3.
TJ Bartell and Nathan Reynolds have been running almost identical lap times the last 5 or 6 laps. So the gap from Bartell to Reynolds has stayed about 3.5 seconds. So it may just be the top 3 here from here on out. Reynolds, McKinnon, and Vroman. There's more lap traffic ahead. I believe Kyle Dumig is going to be the next one to fall victim to Nathan Reynolds here. Dumig is running in the 19th position. We went the longest time in this race without seeing any lap truck at any point. And after a couple of quick cautions with some violent accidents, we've seen several trucks now fall victim to the race leaders.
And I tell you what,
is the next. Yeah, go ahead.
Chad Stearns is all the way up the 5th again. We have seen him rubber band from up to the top to outside the top 10 multiple times here tonight, but he's fought back every time. He is closing in a little bit on TJ Bartell in the 59.
It looks like he's coming with a Hedis team as well. Yeah, Chad Stearns has been on a yo-yo if I've ever seen one. He has been all over the place on this leaderboard. Could you ever yo-yo? I never could figure out how to yo-yo.
I could do the basic yo-yo, but I couldn't walk the dog or
no
do
tricks?
anything like that. No tricks, but Chad Stearns has a trick up his sleeve. He's looking to the bottom of the 59. TJ Bartell really slammed the door on him in turn 3 as Stearns tried to look to the inside, but Stearns is going to make to look at stick here coming out at 2, and he is clear. We'll see if the 59 has an answer.
3.5 seconds is the gap. And actually, they've closed in a little bit. They're right around the 3-second mark behind Nathan Reynolds. So Stearns may not be done with the charge yet. He's looking to get back up into the podium.
And our leaders all separated by about half a second back to McKinnon, and then another half a second back to Steve Roman.
You know what that makes him? It's one of my favorite words. It's one of the words I use the most on the broadcast. Makes him equidistant.
Ah.
Aha.
That's why you're the play-by-play guy, and I'm just
Ooh,
here to
yeah.
add a little flavor to it, you know.
Ryan Dye has gotten his required repairs completed, so he is back out on track here with 7 laps to go. He may have one spot to pick up here with Jeff Langston.
And just as we said that the leaders were about equidistant from each other, Jeremy McKinnon has fallen back quite a bit. If Roman's just a couple of truck lengths behind him now, and they are a full second behind Nathan Reynolds now.
So JKay's prophecy has been foretold. McKinnon may have used up his stuff there on that big charge. And Roman may be looking to take advantage here. Chad Stearns not exactly advancing on this battle for second for the time being, but I'm not saying it's not going to happen.
Not to be facetious, but seems to be the only thing John Kay has gotten right so far tonight.
Is how to spell equidistant? You put it in the chat.
I was talking about McKinnon dropping like a rock, using his stuff up, but we'll
you were talking about how many green flag laps we were going to have. Yeah, I gotcha. We had 20 caution laps, and knock on wood that is going to stay the number here. 6 cautions here tonight, and only 5 laps to go.
I haven't spoken to John Kay much, so I'm really going out on a limb here, but I hope he enjoys the comedy.
Yeah. I was going to say, you're memeing on him like it's the Thunderdome. You just talked to this man for the first time tonight. Oh, it's all love here in turn 200. We appreciate John Kay stopping in the booth earlier as well. Just want to put that on the record.
I'll tell you what, Chad Stearns is closing in a bit. The gap to the leader is only 2 seconds now. And the gap to Vroman and McKinnon is about a second. He seems to have some speed here towards the end of the race. But will he have enough time maybe to get McKinnon and Vroman, but likely not to the 51 of Reynolds?
He's going to have to hit the turbo to get up to Nathan Reynolds. But I think well within play right now, coming to 3 laps to go. McKinnon in second, Vroman in third. And McKinnon is struggling. McKinnon struggling on those tires. Roman up to second now. And he clears him.
He clears him. All of a sudden, the 05 is in the picture.
Maybe about 5 laps shy of getting up to the lead, but he is putting some great laps together here. Stearns looking to the inside. McKinnon trying to hold on for the podium. Reynolds to the line, 2 laps to go. How hard is McKinnon going to play defense here? Here comes Stearns to the inside.
Stearns seems to have a lot more left in his truck than McKinnon does. McKinnon's just going to let him in front, I think, and let Stearns go to work on the 00 of Steve Roman. It is not out of the question that he might be able to catch him, but he's only going to have 1 lap to do it.
White flag, Nathan Reynolds, one more time around Nashville Superspeedway.
And lap traffic's coming into play as well with Rainey for this battle for second.
Stearns trying to feather the throttle there on the bottom. He'll be side by side with Roman for second as Reynolds gets through lap traffic up front. The battle for the lead is all done and dusted. It's going to be Nathan Reynolds to the line for career win number 10, first win on the season. And Chad Stearns gets the pass done on Steve Roman, moves Stearns to second. Steve Roman hangs on for third.
Wow, I tell you what, that was a heck of a drive from Chad Stearns at the end of that race.
And I tell you what else, Nathan Reynolds is out of gas. He ran out of gas at the line. That is unbelievable.
And Andy Policky gives him a little love there as they're coming down the backstretch. Wow, that was a lot closer on fuel than we thought it was going to be.
No kidding. Talk about tight margins. He said he wasn't shifting there at the end of the race. He said I had to relearn how to drive the track. Holy cow. What a drive for Nathan Reynolds, especially considering what we know now. What a drive for Chad Stearns.
Oh, he's got a little bit left.
He said, I have just enough for a roller.
He was getting pushed because he wanted enough to at least do a little burnout for us.
Yep. And he got
one. He got half of one, and he's out now.
He got a little burp in there. Here comes Kyle Zittel. He slid down to 9th. There, he was running as high as 4th there in the closing 30 laps, but he slides down to 9th. Well, let's go ahead and give you the full finishing order here, and then we will talk to our podium finishers here tonight. And they are, again, Nathan Reynolds, 10th career win for him here tonight. He's the second to break into double digits in the Venom Truck Series. Chad Stearns, awesome run, third podium of the season. Comes away with a second-place finish. Steve Roman hangs on for third after Stearns takes away second there on the final lap. McKinnon then with TJ Bartell round out your top 5. Great runs for them tonight. Jan Van Leer, I believe best finish of the season for him in P6. Andy Policky, a quiet night for him. He rolls off, or he finishes in P7. Brantley Gainey Jr. Will finish in P8 here tonight. Kyle Zittel, believe it or not, 9th place finish is his best finish of the season.
Wow,
not representative of how he's been running it all this season, but it's good to see him finally get into the top 10. It's long awaited. Paul Ellison, after some early troubles, a decent recovery. He will finish in P10 here tonight. Corey Rutherford slides down to 11th. Austin Holyfield, I believe that's his best season, and then in turn his best career finish. Actually, it ties his best career finish at the Forbidden Indiana track. So a 12th place finish for Holyfield here tonight. Will Salamone in P13. And Kevin Sargent will be the last truck in the lead lap here tonight. He will finish in P14. Michael Dean got lapped there on the very last lap. He will finish in 15th. Garrett Rainey then will be in 16th. Kyle Dumig, Adrian Brown, Ethan Patterson, Cole Maxwell, Michael Crow, and Ryan Borboom all the way through 22nd. All 1 lap down. Actually, Borboom 2 laps down in 22nd. Paul Sargent 5 laps down in 23rd. And Ryan Dye disconnected before he could overtake Jeff Langston for the 24th spot. So Langston 24th, Ryan Dye 25th, Luke Peterson, Pascal Samard, a couple of drivers involved in that wild crash to bring out, I believe, our 5th caution of the night. So they are the first retirees here tonight. They finished 26th and 27th, retiring with 60 laps to go. All righty, it is podium interview time, and Steve Roman is going to be up first. And we've got him in booth 200. He's been a mainstay of late between between Venom Truck Series and Truck 200. Welcome back to the booth here, and congrats on a hard-fought P3 here tonight. You got us? Uh-oh. Well, we may have to put Steve on ice here until we can figure him out. All right, we're gonna try for Steve here in just a couple of minutes. We'll go ahead and bring in our second place finisher, which is Chad Stearns. And man, absolutely on rails there in the closing few laps. Congrats on an incredible P2 finish here tonight.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah, I held off just a little too long.
Yeah, that was going to be one of my questions was how many more laps do you think you needed to get up to Nathan Reynolds?
Maybe 2.
Yeah, no, I can see that. How do you feel about the night overall? You were up front. You had a couple of big moments and big saves, and then had to work through it. So, how do you feel about the night overall?
Overall, I feel pretty good. There was a couple unfortunate incidents, but I tried not to. I just tried to move on, do my best, save some tire. I knew I'd have a chance at the end if I just kept my composure, saved a little bit of tire, and it worked out. So yeah, overall, it was a good night.
It's your third podium of the season here tonight, and you got the pole as well. So I'd venture to say it was a pretty good night. Who do you want to thank here tonight, and shout-outs for you?
I'd just like to thank Venom Truck Series, Ziddle and Grayson, and just everybody that races, man. It's a good group.
Absolutely. We appreciate you coming out, and congrats again on the P2. It was a great run.
All right. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Now let's go ahead and see if we can get Steve Roman up into the booth. Is it going to work this time, partner?
Yeah, sorry about that. I had a bad internet connection there.
That'll happen from time to time. But a P3 for you. You've been a mainstay up here in the broadcast booth the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, it's been great talking to you guys. Hopefully I don't jinx myself here with that.
I think you'll be all right. But talk about trying to manage making pushes and saving tires there in the closing stages.
Yeah, I was trying to save everything I could, but I was also trying to stay close to the leader there. I knew he had pitted before us and was going to be close on fuel, so I was trying to keep up with him and kind of push him, hopefully either get him to make a mistake or get him to run out of fuel because he was definitely fast and it was going to be hard to get by him.
Matt, what do you got for Steve?
Steven, you were right there behind Reynolds for quite a few laps in a row. It seemed like you were really good through turns 1 and 2, and he kind of edged you out in 3 and 4. What was so good about 1 and 2 that you were doing differently than maybe the 51 was that you were able to suck right up to him almost lap after lap?
Yeah, I'd kind of seen the line he was taking in 1 and 2 there and altered mine a little bit, and I think I was getting a little bit better drive off the corner there. I just couldn't quite figure it out for 3 and 4. Like you said, he'd always pull me back in 3 and 4, so it was kind of back and forth there for a while, and it was a lot of fun.
Well, partner, I think I know him as well up at this point, but your shout-outs for you here tonight.
Yeah, thanks, guys. It's going to be the team at Broke Guys Racing and, of course, our sponsors at None of Your Beeswax Apiary.
It is another good night for Broke Guys Racing up front. And don't quote me because I just did this in a haste before the Venom Truck Series race here tonight, but I believe Broke Guy is leading the team points in Truck 200 now as well. So Broke Guy has been on fire of late, and you have been a big part of that. So congrats on another podium finish here this season. In fact, it is your third on the year. So another great run for you here tonight. Congrats.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
All righty. It's time for the first time in Truck 200, or rather Turn 200 history. We've got Mr. Billy Badbutt himself, Mr. Car Inside, Mr. Nathan Reynolds is a race winner on Turn 200 for the first time, but your 10th time as a Venom Truck Series driver. That was an outstanding run here tonight. Congratulations.
Thanks, guys. I appreciate it.
Now, you said you ran out at the line. Is that right?
I had 0.2 left.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, so I just shut it off, hoping to coast back just to make some sort of smoke there at the end. Gotta have a little fireworks. Thankfully, former teammate and a good friend of ours, Garrett, was there first to push us back, so we got to celebrate just a little, but I got about 20 feet and ran out.
So did you have any tire sets left in the pits there at the end of the race? Did you ever think about coming in on a couple of those later cautions?
Yeah, I had one set. but I wanted to save them. I kind of had my mind made. I've been terrible on strategy all year long. I've lost so many races on strategy, so I'm probably not the guy to sit here and tell you the perfect plan that I had to win a race off of strategy. But I wanted the race to go at least to lap 80 to 90 before I pitted again and used that set. And honestly, I got lucky that I had enough gas, because I wasn't paying attention and did not come down pit road to top off when I probably should have. And that, I thought it was going to cost me, because Jeremy and Roman started pressuring me pretty good there, and I actually had to downshift a couple times. But in my mind, I was like full send. Either I'm going to run out and finish last, or I'm going to win the thing. There's no in between. And so I downshifted, because I knew in that moment that if I let them get out front and clean air, it was going to take me downshifting multiple times to get back out in front. So my best option was to try to minimize how many times I did downshift, just to stay in that clean air. And it was more difficult than I thought it would be, because I'm so used to, once I get up to high 32s lap times, I start downshifting to use it to carry more speed, and couldn't do that. Had to save, so I almost had to relearn how to drive the track a different way throughout the end of the run there when pressure was on, and it was I was sweating a little bit. Hats off to those guys behind us.
Matt, what do you got for a race winner here?
Well, I just want to say congratulations. He kind of answered all the questions I was going to ask him there about pit strategy, and we heard you over the radio say that you had to relearn how to drive that thing a little bit. It seemed like you were just really fending Steve off in turns 3 and 4. Were you worried that he was going to try to dive bomb you there at some point?
Yeah, I was, but I know what kind of racer he is, and I knew that he wouldn't throw it in there and take us out. So he's one of those guys that you kind of look in the mirror and know that you can run really close. And I guess I took a little advantage of that. I threw one block that I don't even remember if my spotter cleared me or not, but we just sent it.
Oh, the full send mentality. I gotta love it. But shout outs for you here tonight. It's I feel like it's been a while since we've had you up here in the booth, but it's been too long either way. So let's give them all some love.
Yeah, big shout out to my wife. Actually, hear her in the other room brushing the boys' teeth and getting them to bed. So her and her mom duties for allowing us to do this and taking care of everything. And I'm glad to be interviewing tonight, because I'd like to tell everybody watching there's a very special person near and dear to me, a relative, really young age, and she's very sick right now, and she needs everybody's thoughts and prayers, and she's in very, very bad shape. She's a very sick little girl. And so anybody listening, I just want to take this time to tell them to keep her in your prayers and in your thoughts, and send her all the love that you can.
Absolutely will do, partner. All the best to you and yours. But congratulations here tonight on the big win. It's win number 10, and it is a well-deserved one. You were looked fantastic out front all night. So congrats again on the big win, and say hi to the lovely Mrs. Badbutt for me, would you?
Will do. Thank you, guys.
That is your race winner. If I can drag him into the waiting room, there we go. It feels so rude to just have the ability to kick people out of the room whenever you like. But it's one of the god powers we're given here on the Discord. It's being able to move people from room to room. But that's going to be a wrap here on the Nashville Superspeedway. What'd you think of the racing here tonight once we got some green flag laps in?
Yeah, I mean, once the green flag lap started, that's really what we were looking forward to, and it did not disappoint. And, of course, there was good racing up to that point as well. Just, I think some of the drivers trying to really figure this track out that might not have been here for a little while. It is a tricky one, that's for certain. We saw a lot of people slapping the wall coming out of turn 4, but once we kind of got things figured out, it was great racing up front and through the middle of the pack. Really great stuff from the Venom guys. As always, just a blast to watch.
Absolutely. Anything else you want to say to put a bow on the night here? You are Mr. Nashville, after all.
Well, thanks everybody for tuning in to the hometown race for this is actually Nashville.
Yes,
of course. Thanks everybody for tuning in and for tuning in to Truck 200. We had really nice numbers on our inaugural 200 at Talladega, and then also last night a really great race at Atlanta as well. So thanks to everybody for tuning in. We have had some people subscribe in the last about week and a half that we'd like to shout out. Yakes87, Kevin Baker, Stacy 2384, The Shocky, Ryan Mack, Stephen C, and It's Mike Racing have all subscribed within the last 10 days, so I want to give a shout out to those guys. And if you are not subscribed and are watching, we would love it if you would.
Absolutely. While you're down there, hit like on the stream as well. Every little bit is going to help us. We appreciate everybody for hanging out with us here tonight. It seems like the majority of the chat here tonight was JKay Gaming, but I can't say I blame the man. He's finally off of work, and he's finally able to sit down and watch a race live. So we thank John for hanging out in the booth with us and in the chat here tonight. Thanks to Eric Breeding for hanging out with us tonight, as well as Drew White and Madison Bowen for stopping by as well. Always welcome to see Madison in the chat for you. That is pretty much going to do it here tonight for the broadcast of the Being Homeless Sucks 115 presented by JKay Gaming. The next time we will be live here on stream will be next Monday night for the Untitled 200K from the Glen. Watkins Glen is hosting round number 3 for Truck 200. That is going to be an insane race, to say the least. One of the best tracks for stock car racing. One of the best road courses, rather. Actually, yeah, one of the best overall tracks for stock car racing. I'll say it. Watkins Glen hosts round number 3. Next time we'll be covering the Venom Truck Series will be next Tuesday night for the Honor the Fallen 150, a night race from Martinsville. Just if you thought that we were going to turn the temperature down, it is staying up. The heat keeps on coming. We'll be at Martinsville next Tuesday, Watkins Glen next Monday for Truck 200. We hope to see you there. Thanks to everybody for coming out and hanging out with us here tonight. Thanks from everybody from the Venom Truck Series and from everybody here at Turn 200 for the GOAT, Mr. Matt Williamson. I've been Tommy Cook. Until we meet again, we say so long from virtual Nashville Superspeedway, where the virtual guitar strings are being strummed here tonight by your race winner, Mr. Nathan Reynolds, for the 10th time in his career. Good night, everybody.